Okay, back again, YouTube. Making a pair of some abalone stud dangly style earrings. So, I'm using Nymo size D thread, and I will use my thread conditioner here. Run it through. And then I just run it through my fingers to kind of rub it into the thread to remove any big, sorry, hit the stand there, any big pieces off of it. I had like the label from it, so I could show you guys. Here it is. Again, this is the thread conditioner that I use. I bought it from White Fawn Indian Creek on Etsy. There you go. And it's really great. It smells like honeysuckle. I love it. So I've got size D thread. I'm using an 11 sharp needle, John James. This is Pellin 72F, I believe. It's the double-sided fusible interfacing. I get it at Joann's. Usually I wait until they have it on sale for 50% off, and then I just buy like a whole bolt. But, you know, you can buy it by the yard there. It's probably most people don't need a whole 10-yard bolt of interfacing, but, you know, with how there are all these supply chain issues now and everything, and this is what I do for a living. I sell jewelry. I sell beadwork through Etsy and on my Instagram. That's something I've been thinking about lately. Like, sometimes people will describe what I do as, oh, the jewelries, you know, by Jessie, or she's, you know, she makes jewelry. I don't view it that way. I see myself as an indigenous beadwork artist, and I make beadwork and wearable art, and they just happen to be earrings, necklaces, brooches, you know, which can also be described as jewelry. But I don't think of myself as a jewelry maker or jewelry artist. I know that seems like nitpicky, but I don't know. When my work is being described, I prefer it to be described as beadwork, because that's what it is. Anyway, yeah, so I make these little posts, these little abalone posts, and then, after, like, I'll put the post on, and then I'll do the edging, and then I have these woodcuts that I got from Shipwreck Beads a while ago, and sometimes I just make earrings out of just those that are just like freestanding. Then hold on, let me show you. I have some right here that I finished. They're like these. Sorry, keep hitting the stand. It's not a very good design, but yeah. These. And so, you know, they're a post, but they're still kind of dangly. They're like, it's wood, and it's shell, and it's beads. And they're one of my favorite like styles, designs that I have. They're not like super popular, but I really love them, so I'm just gonna keep making them. You know, I've only made them a couple of times, and you know, if these don't sell, then hey, I'll have a pair, maybe, eventually. So, yeah. They're one design that I feel is like really original to me and my brand, I guess, like my aesthetic. I've never seen anybody else do that particular style, so you know, it just is something that popped in my head one day, and I had to see it through, make them, and I really enjoy, I really love how they turned out. So, yeah, just these little studs are the first part. And so I'm just using these small abalone rounds, and these are size 11 glass seed beads. I believe they're Japanese seed beads. They're from the Garden of Beading in Garberville, California, up in the Redwoods on Highway 101. They're kind of in the center of town. Great place to check out if you're ever up in the Redwoods, Avenue of the Giants, you know, Highway 101. If you're into beads, definitely check them out. They have a really unique selection. Just stabbed myself. Yeah. Oh, one too many there. So if you have too many beads, take your thread and go back down and then you can just pull it off. So you don't have to like unthread, you know, undo your needle and take it all the way down. You can just backtrack. Quick and simple. This, like I always do when I do beaded embroidery, I do a 2-bead back stitch. It's just what feels comfortable and good for me. Like, I've done it for so long now, it's just kind of what I prefer. I know so many people love 2-needle applique. It just, I don't know, having 2 needles and 2, you know, threads that I have to keep straight and irritates me. But it would probably look nicer, I don't know. So, this is just what I prefer to do. How you guys doing out there? It's probably hot where you are. It's hot everywhere. It's been relentless. Here it's been over 100 degrees for I don't know, more than a week, I think, and then the entire 10-day forecast is all over, predicted to be over 100 degrees. And that's why in the background I have my whole house fan and a floor fan, and the windows are open, because I don't have AC. So it's really hard. Like, not having air conditioning really inhibits my, like, productivity throughout the day, because it's too hot to work upstairs where all of my workspace setup is, and, you know, downstairs where it's cooler. I wouldn't say cool, but more tolerable. I don't have proper lighting or, like, places to plug in proper lighting, and there's so many fans going. Keeping a 6-foot-long piece of thread is untangled is almost impossible. And so I have to work upstairs in my workshop late at night, into the wee hours of the morning, and all the fans are on, so it's hard to film things and create content for here on YouTube, for Instagram, and I'm on TikTok now, which I'm too old for that. I don't know how to do, like, I don't know how to do any of the stuff. Like, you see my videos here on YouTube, they're completely unedited. I don't do anything to them because I don't know how. And so when it comes to TikTok, like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just throw stuff up, you know, and if it sticks, it sticks. It's a real crapshoot, you know. So, like, I bought a tiny microphone to plug into my phone for when I'm recording, but it doesn't work. So that was, I mean, it was just a little cheap one. So probably have to buy a better one. But I don't know. How much do you invest in this? I don't know. I just want to bead. That's it. I just want to bead, but I also need to, you know, get my stuff out there to the world. So we'll see. So, you know, just doing 2 bead backstitch here. I put 4 beads on my needle, bring them in, tack that down. I come up behind the second bead on the inside and go through the last 2. And that helps create like a smoother line. I say as everything gets jumbled and messed up. No. I just wish I had more, like, comfortably workable hours in the day. earlier I was sitting downstairs and it was just so hot, and like I have a leather armchair, like an old kind of broken down leather armchair, and anywhere your skin touches it, you know, and it just sticks because of the heat. And so I was just like leaned forward so I wasn't touching it anywhere, and I'm just like, I'm tired of being hot and poor, you know? God. So, but you just soldier on, get through the day. You know, what else can you do? But this is where I live. So, just make and do. I had like one skinny bead to fit in this spot. Maybe that's too many. Yeah, I don't want to crowd it, so I think I'm just gonna maybe look for one longer bead for that third one. We'll see. That should do it. So then I just work my thread all the way around in one complete pass through this outer layer. But just one, because it's size D thread, so it's bigger. And then when I do my edging, like to finish that, I'll come around and bring the thread through, and I want to make sure that there's room inside the beads, because sometimes it starts to get kind of full and a little hard to pass your needle and the thread through. And with size D, I mean, you can thread it on the smaller beading needles, but sometimes it's a little finicky. And so then I just take my thread zap and zap that thread. You know what I mean? So, I kind of move those back. Where are we at? We're at 18 minutes. I'll kind of show you how I do the finishing here. So I take like my bigger pair of scissors and I cut away most of the excess foundation, but not all. I'm going to keep this to spread the glue on the back. I'll need these posts in a second here. So then what I do is I take my like smaller, finer scissors and cut away the rest of the excess foundation. which I don't normally do this part on camera because I'm always afraid that I'm gonna snip a thread and destroy everything. So I did that, and then I turn it over and I see if there's any place where like there are like little bumps or where I can like get closer, get rid of a little more of that thread, or not thread, the foundation, excess foundation. I just like to get as much of it gone. I don't like visible foundation in my finished piece. I know there are people that do. They'll leave like 1/8 of an inch here, and you know, if that's how you roll, cool. I personally don't. I like to have it be as kind of as clean as possible. And I've seen people using those like hot knives where it's like an X-Acto knife that'll like burn through your foundation. Oh, it's cool, but scary. But I may look into that because it does look very cool. So I don't know if any of that was on camera or not, like in frame. I'm sorry if it wasn't. I just have to, it's like the most nerve-wracking part of embroidered beadwork is cutting away that foundation. So, here I have just little studs, posts. You want to take, I have another pair of scissors here that are kind of like, they're like worn out, but I'll take the tip of those scissors and scratch up the back. So that way I use super glue on these, and that way it gets like it has a textured surface to grab onto. I do a little bit on the, and it just flew away, so I'm just gonna pick up another one and find that one later. Scratch it up. Again, this makes it so your glue has something to hold on to. I'm sure that this action is making the camera super bouncy, and I'm sorry. That's good enough. Scratch, scratch. Scratch it up. I got it. Good enough. Okay, and now I need a backing material. Just gonna, I think, use this black leather. I'm gonna have a lot more black leather soon. I recently purchased a couple of secondhand black leather coats that I'm going to take apart and use for backing material. So, probably be making a video about that. The deconstruction process. I've already done 2 smaller coats, but I didn't film it because it was like my first time doing it, and I wanted to see if it worked, you know. So just throw that back in the box. So just box of leather scraps, and that's all I need are just like small scrap pieces of leather. And they just make little things, you know. I mean, I have bought like full buckskins for stuff, but for my everyday use, I don't need big buckskins and stuff. And like this leather, the leather that I'm taking from the coats, I also get craft leather, which is like scrap leather bundles from places. That leather just would have been thrown away anyway, you know, and so it's a little more eco-friendly. So I kind of place them like that, and then I'll just pick up my awl, poke that hole, and I'm going to put it right there so I don't lose where it was. But next I'm going to grab, for most of my projects, I just use Eileen's original tacky glue. I know some people use E6000 for everything, or they use the super glue for everything for the backing, but I find that it's not necessary for most backing projects, because Eileen says it, and then you're sewing everything together anyway. And this way, I don't know. This is just my preferred method. So if I were making earrings that were going to be like dangle, like hanging from a hook, like embroidered around, and then with a little loop at the top where I put like a hook, it would be just Eileen's. But because these are posts and they're gonna have that extra tug on the back, like with the wear and tear, I do use Loctite super glue at the point of the post. So, show you what I do here. So, I'm going to put a little bit underneath just to attach the posts to the backing. And then I try not to get it on my fingers because it sucks, but earlier I got a ton of super glue on my thumb. I had like a piece of leather like stuck to it. So be careful. Also be really careful because it sucks when you drop stuff with super glue on it. And so this is pretty much, I can just put it on anyway. There's no like up or down. And then just hold it for about 30 seconds. Most of the time I just sing the ABCs in my head. I think it's only like, there's like 15 seconds or something is the recommended time, but like I say, I just sing the ABCs. But then I let it sit for 24 hours before I do any edging. And I know some people use super glue so that way they can edge immediately because it dries super fast. I think even if I did that, I would still let it sit. You don't want to get glue on your thread, and I want to make sure that the bond is super tight. sure there's nothing on your post there. So, just gonna repeat that process. For the second one here. I just want to make sure that's all attached. Or just that there's contact between the leather and the post before I move on to this stage. And you don't want to put too much. You don't want to put too much on there because it'll squeeze out the sides, and when the super glue comes out the sides, it's a real freaking mess. So, just, where's my hand? Oh, there's my hand. Sorry. I know, I'm terrible, and like, this part I normally don't do on camera because it's kind of high stakes. You know, the trimming the excess fabric and then dealing with super glue. It's easy to get, and it's easy to get distracted when you're filming. And so, I just want to make sure that, like, the most important part is getting everything situated. So, there we go. And then what I do is I have 2 socks filled with rice, and I put them like post down into the bottom sock, and then sit the bigger, heavier sock on top, so that way they're compressed totally, and then I'll come back to them tomorrow night. So, okay, so there we go. Steps kind of 1 and 2 of creating these post and dangle earrings. So tomorrow, hopefully, I can film the rest of the process. Okay? So I hope you're all staying cool and safe out there. I know it's crazy, ridiculous right now. But yeah, just try to stay cool. Alright, Hachipita Lachike. Talk to you guys later. Bye.